Hey, thank you for checking in. So I recently purchased a Robinson Armament XCR-L, and I thought I'd give folks an overview of this rifle because it's somewhat non-standard and it's a little bit unique. And I'm also going to kind of give you my initial impressions, talk about the rifle, and then today I intend to zero it, maybe do a little bit of a shoot around, and then at the end I'll give you my impressions on my first day at the range with it. So without further ado, the XCR-L, which stands for Exchangeable Caliber Rifle Light. This is a truly unique rifle because the user, the owner, has the ability to change out barrels without going to a gunsmith or something like that. So I'm not going to go into that today, but there are 7 different calibers for the light version. This one is in 5.56, but you can go to 224 Valkyrie, 7.62 by 39, 5.45 by 39, and 6mm arc, things like that. So pretty cool. You just need the barrel and of course different firing pin mechanism, and you can change it out within probably 5 minutes. Without further ado though, with this particular rifle, I kind of wanted to talk through the process. So I put this, I went online and they have a drop down menu and you can build your own. It's pretty unique in that regard. Choose between, as I mentioned, 7 different calibers. You can choose between 3 different colors: black, OD green, olive drab green, or FDE, flat dark earth. I chose obviously OD, and different muzzle devices, and I'm going to cover all that, but it's pretty cool. You just drop down menu, choose, and go through it, and then it'll tally up your cost at the end. And when I spoke to the customer service representative and asked them how long it was going to take before I could expect to pick this up at my FFL, and they said we're about right at 30 days. And to that point, it was exactly 30 days later I received an email from the sales team saying, hey, your rifle is ready to ship. So true to form, for a custom-made rifle, that's pretty good. Some folks said they were waiting several months. I remember watching a video a year or two ago that folks were waiting 6-8 months for theirs. I bought this in the spring of 2024, and as of this video, 30 days. That's the turnaround on these. So this is a piston-driven rifle. It is more, it looks kind of AR on the outside, but it is AK internal. So piston-driven, so it has the side charging handle, of course not the rear charging handle like you might be used to. And in that regard, I kind of wanted something like this in my safe. So starting at the top and just working our way back, you'll notice that I've got the old A2 birdcage flash hider. So they give you a choice between 2 different types of muzzle brakes or this flash hider. And I went with the flash hider because I intend to compete with this rifle, and the organizations I compete in do not allow you to have muzzle brakes, just the way it goes. So having said that, I also chose the competition length rail. So I didn't want an exposed barrel because I intend to set this on VTAC barriers and different things. And I'm also kind of a long, lanky guy, and I like to reach out. This is a 14.7-inch barrel. You can choose between, I think it's 4 different barrel lengths, from 18.6, 15.3, 14.7. I know I'm missing one in there, but I chose a 14.7 as a compromise. And because of that, this device is pinned and welded. So to kind of get up a little bit closer, as I mentioned there's the gas block in there, the adjustable gas block. So you could take the tip of a round, they suggest, but you can also use a multi-tool or anything. And there's 7 different position gas block that you can change through there. It did come with these adjustable iron sights, which are actually polymer. Pretty good. I intend to zero those today too. I'll have to remove my LPVO, so I'll zero my LPVO, mark it with a paint pen, and then you can tell I can't raise it there, so I'll zero these and probably keep them on. But pretty good quality. You know, they're not all iron or steel like a CAC or something like that, but I think they're perfectly acceptable. Again, the finish is OD green. I don't see any blemishes or anything like that. I think it looks pretty good. Black internals, black controls, so pretty good contrast. You can tell between the pistol grip and the buttstock as well. Moving on back, so as I mentioned, this is a piston-driven gun, no rear charging handle like on an AR. Again, it is more AK-like. So you've got the side charging handle, and you can see there how far that side charging handle protrudes. It's kind of a rubberized hard plastic that also serves as your forward assist. I don't know if you can see that if you push in there, it kind of has a little bit of a give. So this isn't really, you know, folks were saying it doesn't feel cheap to me. It's, like I said, it's hard rubberized kind of a plastic material, and it's non-reciprocating. So I also want to point out that everything on this rifle is ambidextrous. There are other piston-driven guns where you can change out the charging handle from the right to the left side, or excuse me, the left to the right side. Not so with the Armament, Robinson Armament XCR-L. So non-reciprocating charging handle, but the rest of the controls to include, so you've got the bolt release right there on both sides, right? You can kind of see my thumb manipulating it. The magazine release. Magazine release on both sides there, and the 60-degree throw on the safety, and that's of course on both sides. Some folks were saying it was a 45. It is not 45. It's straight out of the owner's manual. It's a 60-degree throw. So the trigger, this is something that you'll be stuck with. So if you purchase one of these, this is the trigger you're going to ride with for as long as you have this rifle. It is, according to the owner's manual, a 3.5-pound trigger, 2-stage. I think it's pretty good. There's no grit. It's not heavy at all. You can see the take up there. Pretty good. Let up. So not bad. There you go. Okay. So I think it's a good trigger. I know I've changed out triggers in my other ARs and things like that. I like a flat bow, or, you know, maybe put a Geissele trigger in. Like I said, this is the trigger you've got, and that's what you have to ride with. So one of the few things you can change out on this rifle is the pistol grip. So it comes with this old A2 style. I know folks kind of, wow, man, they kind of like when you get a scar, you know, folks like to complain about that. Most folks I know change out their pistol grips anyway, so I intend to do that. But, you know, not bad. It's serviceable for right now. Moving on back, so the collapsible buttstock, when I first took this out of the bag, it was really, really stiff, and I had to put some Croyle on this hinge just to get it to open and close. But you can close it, and it can fire, obviously, from the closed position. You know, it's pretty good for storage and things like that, so I think that's pretty neat. Now I've kind of got it loosened up, so it moves freely back and forth. Two different types of buttstocks that they offer. They call it the Fast 2 or the Fast 3. The original is the Fast 2. It's, I guess you would call it minimalist. Not so much like maybe a Sig Spear minimalist, which is just a very thin, you know, protrusion for your buttstock. A little bit more. I found the cheek well acceptable. It's adjustable. So if you look here, I don't know if you can see those two detent buttons right here. You have to pinch both of them at the same time, and it's a 6-position adjustable buttstock, right? Kind of moves back about a ½ an inch each time, all the way out to fully extended. And then this knurl right here, you just kind of tighten it down, and that locks it in place, and you're good to go. So it's not a pinch and pull like you might be used to in a CZ, Bren 2, or some other, maybe your ARs. A little bit different, but at least it will lock in place. I don't have any issues with that. That's fine. And it feels well right now. It feels pretty good right now. As you take aim. I don't think it's any issue. I don't really care for the. I hate to say this. I don't like to compare, but the Sig Spear LT is a little bit too thin. And again, I'm a rangy kind of bony guy, so I need a little bit more beef because I don't have any. How about that? Okay, so overall, the rifle, when it was said and done, and I plugged all this in, the cost was $2,295, so $2,300 for the rifle as is. That's obviously doesn't come with an LPVO, but I really didn't see too much other than, you know, maybe adding a different flash hider or putting the muzzle brake on there that would add to the cost. It doesn't matter if you choose FTE or black. It doesn't change the cost. I think it does increase the cost if you went with a Fast 3 buttstock. So there's the quick overview of the rifle. I will say this: when you pick it up, it comes with a gray nylon range bag. one 30-round aluminum Duramag, and of course the operator or the owner's manual. It feels light. It's a very thin profile rifle. I think that probably aids in its weight reduction. It feels lighter than I anticipated. When I first pulled this out of the bag and I kind of just shouldered it, I thought, wow, this is surprisingly light. So having said all that, let's get to zeroing and get the first few rounds down range and see what this is all about. Just wanted to mention real quickly the ammunition I'm using today. Not too much of a wide variety. I'm going to zero with some 77 grain AAC stuff, and of course the ubiquitous PMC 55 grain, and just some other couple boxes of this Frontier M193. I didn't bring a wide variety of different kind of magazines, mostly PMags, but something I had when I was in the military, and of course I wanted to check out this magazine they gave me that came with the rifle and put a few rounds through it. So my plan is to zero, make sure I've got a good tight zero, probably put upwards of 300 rounds through the rifle today. Okay. I just finished up zeroing, and it only took me 6 rounds. I used a laser bore sight device before I came out here, and you can tell I've got an LPVO on that. So I'm using a primary arms 1:8 PLX compact, and I really like that. And fortunately, within 6 rounds, I'm where I think I need to be. So I used a printable T.Rex arms 50-yard zero for an AR, and I'm going to show you here real quick if I can get a good shot of it. So here's my first group right here. There's the first 3 rounds. So 1, 2, 3. I did make a minor adjustment, and then here's my last 3 right there. So I'm pleased with that zero. I'm not gonna make any more adjustments. I'm now gonna go back and do a few more drills. And like I said, now I'm probably gonna run 3, maybe 400 rounds through the rifle today, and then I'll wrap up with some impressions. Okay. Okay, they say comparison is the thief of joy, but it's hard not to. So today, I brought, of course, the XCR-L, but I brought a AR-15 pistol because I wanted to zero this optic. So what I'm going to do is a build drill real quick. Unfortunately, I didn't bring my timer, and I'm pretty upset. I dug through my range bag and I didn't bring it. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of an unofficial kind of build drill today in my head, I guess, so that I won't have any times or anything. This is nothing special. So this is a this is a Palmetto State Armory lower on a Radian 12.5-inch upper. Go figure. But I just kind of wanted to zero this optic on here today. And but anyway, single stage trigger, nothing fancy at all. Just kind of wanted to see the ergonomics and how it feels as compared to the Robinson XCR-L. So again, a build drill. You're just going to have to bear with me as I go through this, and let's just see how it looks anyway. Again, different barrel lengths, different operating systems, but it's just fun to take a look at, right? All right. I'm anticipating. I'm not, I'm going to need some time on this trigger for sure. I'm going to need some more time. So, all right, let's take a look at this single stage AR. Yeah. You know, and I'm not the quickest draw on the planet, clearly. So, you know, I'm sure I'm going to hear about it in the comments. You know, I need work on it, but that's okay, right? just can't get off the, I can't get off the starting blocks very well. So I need some work on that. Yeah, I'm I'm clearly better at the AR right now, and I don't know why. So I don't know why. And this is, again, nothing fancy, nothing special. So anyway, it's good to take a look at, right? I grabbed the wrong eye protection today, so yeah, I look like a dork. Just let it go. Okay, here's the last shot of the day. Thought I'd do a quick wrap up of the Robinson Armament XCR-L and 5.56 that I purchased just a few weeks ago. So right from the get-go, the accuracy is exceptional for a piston-driven combat rifle. As you saw the zero earlier in the video, I am more than pleased with the accuracy, and I know I'm using an LPVO, but I thought it was great. So no issues there. Ergonomics, again, after shooting, I put 460 rounds through this rifle today. I'm getting used to it. It's something that's different than an AR, so I've never really, other than my days in the Army, kind of messed around with an AK type system and a little bit with the SCAR, but I'm not used to this side charging handle, and I need to get used to the ambidextrous bolt release. I found myself at times having to think, right? And I was activating the bolt release with my left hand, my non-firing hand, reaching back because I'm used to doing that with an AR, right? So something I've got to overcome. It's very well built. It's very slim. I think it feels much better than a lot of the other firearms that I've felt in this mode. Than other piston-driven guns, if that makes any sense. So far on that, it checks all the blocks. There is two things that I think that needs to be addressed, that folks need to be made aware of. There are no QD attachments on this rifle. So for your slings, whatever you might be running with a quick detachment, there are none. So if you notice here on this fast 2 buttstock, there's a hole. You can run some 550 cord or paracord, whatever you want to call it, kind of like a Frank Proctor sling. You can run it through the front, and I have one of those, but I didn't bring it today. That's why you saw me running without a sling, which I typically like to have one. If I'm going to compete, I have to have a sling. So it'll probably be the Frank Proctor. Now you could, on this M-LOK rail, put a quick detachment mount, but I don't know how somebody smarter than I could figure out how you're going to, put a QD mount back there. You'd probably, again, have to use 550 cord. Something to just keep in mind. I want to back up. M-LOK and also key mod. These come in key mod if you want that. I liked M-LOK just simply because a lot of the accessories I have are for the M-LOK system. So there's that. Number 2, if you can see, when the safety is activated, it rubs right across the top of my knuckle. And I had to really struggle with that, you know, and I'm about ready to shoot. It would push my firing hand out of position, and I'd have to readjust and get back on. So I think when I change out this A2 pistol grip and I put something else in there, it'll change the ergonomics of it. But just something to be aware of. I don't have that problem on any of my ARs, and it's not just a me thing. I know I'm long and spindly, Jack the Pumpkin King, but I think that just rubs right across there. So just something to be made aware of, right? So the no QD, this, something else I wanted to point out, and it might be just the magazines I've had today. Just doing a few drills, even when my mags were dry, a couple of these mag pulls weren't falling free. So I had to, and I don't know if I caught that on video, I had to yank it out and you know, do my mag changes and put them in. So I had no problem with you know, my old aluminum from previous days. They'd fall right out, but some of my mag pulls wouldn't drop. So again, that may be just my magazines. I'm not saying it's an issue, just something I need to be made aware of. And it wasn't all of my PMags, just something I did notice throughout the day. Okay, again, to recap overall, I need to get more acquainted with this firearm. 460 rounds really isn't that much. I look forward to competing with it because I am, for sure. I'll probably do a follow-up, maybe I'll wait till a minimum of 2,000, maybe somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 rounds. It just depends. And, you know, to give an update on this rifle. But I have to say it. I've owned the 6-Spear LT. I've owned the CZ Bren 2. And everybody on the internet likes to, you know, do comparisons and say, you know, which one's better, which one's better. So far, for a piston-driven gun, and I really like that CZ Bren 2. I really like the ergonomics. It was just a smooth shooting gun. I prefer the CZ Bren 2 over the 6-Spear LT, believe it or not. But I think this is the best. I think this is, so far, it's just very well balanced. It's very slim. I know you can't get a good read on this just from a video, but it just feels really good, you know, right out of the box, and just shooting it was a lot of fun. No, it's not as light as a direct impingement AR-15. You know, it's a little bit, it's got more mass because of that, you know, piston-driven gun, but piston-driven system. But it's a smooth shooter. I had no problem reacquiring the target. I had no problem getting right back on. Is it worth $2,300? And that's the inevitable question. You could go to your local gun store and buy a $500 AR or a used one from a buddy for the same price, put a red dot optic on there, and train your butt off and outshoot me any day of the week. And a lot of guys who spend $2,300, $3,000 on a gun. This won't make you a better shooter. That's up to you. You will make you a better shooter, obviously. And I'm telling you something, you know, you don't already know. Don't spend money on chasing the dragon, right? Chasing the next coolest thing. I'm fortunate. I wanted a piston-driven gun. I wanted to see what it was all about. And for me, it's worth it, absolutely. I really like this. I really like this rifle. And like I said, I'm chomping at the bit to get out there and compete with it and see how it does. So, is it worth $2,300? For this guy, it is. That's all I can say, okay? So, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking out this video. You know, please leave some salient comments below to help me as I make these videos in the future. I'm going to probably review some other firearms or maybe give updates, things like that. You know, constructive criticism is great. You know, you suck or your iPro is terrible or something like that. I know that. But again, thank you for checking this out, and I hope you liked it. Thanks.